that's a challenge, and we're working on strengthening this farmer seed system. So I think we are so much affected, and mostly the small-scale farmers, there's now biopiracy, and their varieties are being stolen by scientists and researchers who are now going ahead and registering these varieties as their own. So it has been a challenge, and we are trying and see how we can help these small-scale farmers.
Thank you. Lovely. Okay.
Yeah, and in addition to what Marcia has said, recently we have a new government, and the first thing that the cabinet did was to approve the use of GMO.
Oh,
and
no.
Now we are expected to now have GM food here that we didn't have. And of course, because of the law, we have a law based on international law or based on UPOV 91 that criminalize sharing, exchange, and even selling of farmers' seeds. And because of that law, our seeds are now illegal because they are not recognized anywhere in the law, although 80% of the seeds that are used by the farmers come from the farmers themselves, or from farmers market, or from seed banks. So like 80% of the seeds are criminal in Kenya. And we have...
You're kidding me. Oh my goodness.
Yes, and we have, because of that now, the legal seeds, or the so-called commercial seeds, because of the high standards, the way the law is designed to prevent farmers from selling seeds or participating in the seed market. So 95% of our seeds that are the vegetable seeds are coming from Europe. They are imported. And organic seeds are now illegal. So
what did you say? What seeds are illegal?
Organic seeds are illegal.
What?
Because they
You
cannot be certified in Kenya, given that they don't have the dressing that is part of the qualification for seeds to be certified or to be sold in Kenya. So there are a lot of legal issues around seeds that we are facing. In fact, we joke that all small-scale farmers in Kenya, who are about 70% of the population, between 60 and 70% of the population, are supposed to be in jail because they have one way or the other broken the law that prevent them from sharing and exchanging seeds, and they are supposed to be in jail. So people are not sure whether it's the law that is bad or other people.
Yes.
And what Masma has mentioned is very much true. There is a lot of biopiracy. A company obtaining intellectual property rights on farmers' seeds. Yes. And because the law says if you discover any variety, it becomes yours. And the discover is the way mountain and the rivers were discovered by other people from out of the continent, even when they found people fetching water there. So they just pick, but because it has not been documented, they say they have discovered, and then they are able to commercialize.
Yes.
And stop farmers from using that particular variety.
Yes. So we'll have to add that effort of this network that can try to affect change in those kinds of international laws. We're facing the similar laws in the USA, because we know in India, around the world. So it's a global kind of effort and problem let's add that piece within our sense of mission. Let me also introduce. When I was in Italy again at Terra Madre, I met this dear sister, Vicky. Introduce yourself and then comment on this discussion.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. I'm really happy to be in this group. I actually sat here and Googled while you were speaking the Seed and Plant Varieties Act of 2012 in Kenya. 2 years fine, up to $1 million fine, Kenyan shillings. And it says, and this is a Greenpeace press release, and it just confirms what our two our brother and sister are saying. This is the kind of thing. There's now the core advocacy group that is supposed to be a part of Slow Food International. So it seems that we should elevate this issue to that group and really work on revising. The Greenpeace article, though, interestingly says that the Constitution of Kenya says something else, and says that that the Constitution protects the indigenous seeds. So it does seem that there is a lawsuit that could be brought in Kenya, because these are, remembered, national laws, they're not international laws. So a lawsuit could be brought in Kenya under the Kenyan Constitution, part of the cultural heritage that is apparently enshrined in the Constitution. I don't know how our colleagues feel about that.
Mm-hmm. Tell the folks about this real quickly, where you're from and some of your work and how it intersects.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah, my name is Vicky Acevero, and I was originally a lawyer from the United States, but I've been working in West Africa and the Caribbean for the past 20 years. And 10 years ago, I founded a green market in Trinidad and Tobago, specifically to support small farmers and artisans. And so our green market focuses on SDG, Sustainable Development Goal number 12, which is changing patterns of consumption and production. We too, I think of one of our better organic farmers in the market, and even when he could get seeds, for example, the government's phytosanitary services wanted to irradiate the seeds. So, because they feel like the seeds are not safe. So there is, my goal in the green market, we do this all the time. We make these partnerships with the university.
Yes.
And so I have a lot of soil scientists. I have a lot of plant, botanists and people who understand about plants and seeds. And we try to educate, parts of the population about these things. And because the market is a market where people come, to buy and sell and eat, we have found that we do our talks in the middle of that market so that it reaches out into a broader audience than, just the academics or just the farmers.
So, Vicky, what you said actually made me tired, but here's what you have to understand. I may be tired, but I'm not done yet. You just also made me really, really mad. You energized me. I'm ready for fight. So, what I just heard just now makes me want to put on my boxing gloves, And some of you haven't seen me. I am a senior citizen, so I'm probably and a grandmother. But what I will tell you about grandmothers are, you really don't mess with us, okay?
Okay.
Somebody has messed with my babies. I'm ready to fight, okay? Now, I was hoping we could do some different kind of work in this group, but I think so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to mix it up. We're going to have to talk about the things we're willing to fight for, but unfortunately, we must list the things we're going to fight against as well. So because, of the work I've been doing so many years, and I started off working with young people, and you'll learn more about the history of our work, how it came about. We were working with middle high school kids and young college kids. And so we came up with the idea, what can we do to make a difference? So our footing was always on what could we do? Because there were many people internationally who were fighting the good fight. It wasn't really appropriate for me to take kids down and get them arrested when their families were suffering from malnutrition. Let's plant some vegetables, okay? Basic things that we could do. But I think the mission of this group has to be broadly education and awareness. And I'm thinking, I was in a workshop with Malik Yakini, and he had some growers from Ghana who are facing some of the same things that you're talking about. So I am more than energized and more than ready for the battle. We're going to throw down and fight what we have to fight. But in the meantime, we still have to keep these seeds in stewardship because somebody would steal them all. And only just rename them because, there's so much germ plasm left in the world. Now, we do have a few very good partners. We have a very nice network of universities. And so, Vicki, we can plug into that. We have a very strong research team that's made up of university scholars. And one of the things they are working on right now, and we're going to be at the forefront of the new Farm Bill. So you've now put something else on our table, and that is we must discuss the way U.S. companies are behaving internationally and how they're treating our cousins, our family internationally. This is blood, okay? We're going to fight to protect blood. But the other thing we need to do is, while we don't want to get distracted from what we have to do, which is identify these seeds, collect them, and find ways of protecting them for future generations. So we have to chew gum and walk at the same time.
What's your name? I'm sorry.
My name is.
It says Co-op Gardens, and I know that's not your name.
Yeah, my name is Benita Adib, and I'm the president and founder of STEAM Onward, and STEAM Onward is a 501c3 looking to increase the number of minority and underserved youth that go into STEM careers. And we started a seed initiative where we were growing native fruit, nuts, berries, and selling seeds and starts. COVID shut us down temporarily. Co-op Gardens Commission is a group of about 2,000 citizens who work to deal with food insecurity and the breakdown in the food distribution system that was inevitable to happen because of COVID. So our work is in partnership with the organic seed industry to distribute free heirloom seeds to individuals in need and make sure that they relearn the skills that for taking care of themselves. Talking about food sovereignty and food security.
Where are you based?
We're based in D.C. We're in the DMV. But we work with a network of farmers, and that's Ujamaa Farms. And we have growers all over the country. And what we're doing is we're acting collectively. We built an international collective whose focus is on culturally meaningful varieties. This is what we're about. This seed work is the essence of who we are. Okay. But because we are the only seed company that we know like us that's internationally based like this, we're going to have a profile. People are going to hear about us. So we have a challenge of doing what we have to do to survive and finding partners and ways to do it in such is to not get somebody put in jail for 10 years. So we have to find a way to do it. But here's what I found, Sister Vicki. There's a way to do anything you need to do it. And we have some very wonderful partners. We have the Center for Human Nutrition. We have USDA government, GRIN, which is the germplasm folks. And we have SARE. And Sarah is so interested in making sure that regenerative ag and these meaningful seeds. So we have people inside the government who are acting as individuals and who are acting collectively in their positions. But all of it requires some tiptoeing. But I'm not that good at ballet. I'm more of a step dancer. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a boot dancer. So we're going to do what we need to do to get this work done for our people. And Jim and I in a group just joined the Federation of Southern Collectives this summer. And when we saw what our people have already endured, we went to the Lynching Museum and the Legacy Museum, being burned alive. The way we've been enslaved and mistreated in this country, and yet we thrive, and yet we rise. And so we are soldiers in a long-term war of survival, but survival is just not sufficient. We must find ways to thrive and to grow, and we can only do it by holding hands across the oceans and in partnership. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you, Vicki, this is one working group. If you're interested in our collective, you can learn more. Okay. We asked every member, and this is just general information because we have so many newcomers here, that every member who joins the collective, we ask them to serve on 2 working groups. This one has a focus on what we need to do to support African Caribbean growers. What our needs are from the American side is to identify the culturally meaningful things from those countries. Mm-hmm. So for you, let's say Daniel and Gift, and you need to tell me what it is we have to maintain our East African culture. From somebody from Nigeria, they need to tell me that. From Ghana, they need to tell me that. We have growers in Botswana, Angola, and in Cameroon. I have family in Cameroon. So wherever our people are, Senegal, they need to tell us what is essential. So if you think the Ark of Taste has done some of this work, but what we're doing is we're much more nitty gritty. So what we're saying is, what is it that you have to have in order to maintain your family and your culture? There's a lot of research and scholarship around what we need to be eating, what food is good for us. And we have some people in our working group that are experts on that. We have a lot of chefs, college professors, farmers, and intellectuals like Jim Embry. And then you have a whole bunch of grandmothers. This organization was started by a bunch of grandmothers who were not going to let our babies starve during COVID. No, that ain't going to happen. We're just not accepting all the realities. And then I must tell you that my world champion is Wangari Maathai. That woman got beat in the head. She got thrown down. She got jailed. And yet she managed to build the Greenbelt movement, which is international. We are building food forests named after her. She, like George Washington Carver, are the champions of the work that we do. We're going to teach. We're going to tell our stories. And nobody's stealing our heritage. We're not going to put up with it. So it may be being a little slick, but we're going to get it done. And we're going to make sure that our children have access to the things that we discover and we learn. Absolutely. So is there anybody else that we didn't get a chance to introduce?
I think Julius is here.
Julius, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry for coming a bit late. I'm here.
Okay, Julius, so I know you have notes. Julius, introduce yourself, because we have a whole lot of East African brothers and sisters in this meeting today.
My name is Julius Kuya. I'm from Kenya. I'm running a community-based organization called Kipepeo Community Empowerment Program. I'm also empowering my local communities through permaculture design and farming. Also, I'm running a permaculture training center. So you're able to provide permaculture training to local communities in western part of Kenya, where we also have a community resource center that is providing such empowerment. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm a representative of African Caribbean group as one of the coordinator or convener So it's a pleasure to be here to meet everyone, and I hope we can have the opportunity to be able to share more, discuss on a lot of issues to do with the farming that can help us be able to transform our food production in Africa, because food is the biggest economic thing that we have in Africa. And if we are able to tender it in a very good way, we shall be able to produce food to serve our needs and be able to serve even economically our country. So feel welcome. I'm happy to be here, and we can build our conversation in the long term. Bonita has been able to share with you what is happening and what is going to happen, especially end of this month. There is a convening which is organized by Ujamaa Farming Alliance. And for us, we need to be part of this network. We need to be able to collaborate with the people all over the world through this network, so that we can also be able to learn some of the best practices that we can put into our context locally for food production and also for seed production. Because if we are able to produce quality seeds, it means we also have quality and good yields, so that we can get return on investment on our efforts, on our money, and on everything we have on our farm. So thank you so much. That is my input.
Thank you, Julius. You have notes, and can you see this document? Can you type into this document? Because we were trying to recreate it, but we've done this all this work. I don't know if you can see this document from where you are.
Yeah, from the screen you have shared, I can see it.
Okay, so if you could help us fill it in, but we, I'm just going to go back about the work that we were doing prior to the rude awakening that you Kenyans have given me today. I had heard this bad news from West Africa, and it makes me sick to know that it's happening all over the continent. But you know what?
All over the world.
Yes.
It's happening all over the world.
Yes.
We can do this, though. We can fight in our way, and we will design the battle, and we will do it in our way. We don't have to reproduce and behave in the way that people who see themselves as our enemies would behave. But we have to do deliberate work. It needs to be scientific. It needs to be regenerative, and it needs to reclaim our heritage. Slavery sought to steal our culture away from us, but that was the reason we were brought here, was because our farming skills. And so there's no way that I'm going to give up my heritage because somebody tried to annihilate me. I'll tell the truth. It's pretty bad what happened to us, but we can step up and do it. Can we talk about some long and short-term goals? I'm asking all of you. I know I can tell, Vicki, you've been doing a lot of thinking about this. You have two, Julius and Daniel and whoever else is on the call. What do you think would be some long-term future goals? Now, you'll see I put down reclaiming the heritage of farming, which I have heard is lost in many urban centers, that even in Africa, people no longer respect and appreciate their heritage of agriculture. Is that true? Would you concur in some countries that's a fact?
Definitely true.
Mm-hmm. All right. We also ask that each one of our growers identify what is culturally meaningful for them, for their families and their ethnic groups, their mother tongue, or your culture, your tribe, whatever language you want to use around that. So we're asking you to all be able to name the things that you have to have for your family. So, for instance, what I'm hearing from my brothers and sisters in Jamaica, and Roxanne is here, she can speak for herself, is they have to have a callaloo, they have to have Scotch bonnet. So, and from other people, it's got to be okra and collard greens, And for some other people, it's got to be bitter leaf and coca-cola nut and yam, So what is it that we have to have? This is a personal question for you. Mm-hmm. We can answer this question more globally, but please remember we've got to save our family histories, our family culture as well. And you'll see we'll do more activities with this. We have a due date. This document is required on October 30th. We will be having a long distance meeting, a governance meeting for the collective. And our working group has 3 to 5 minutes to present this document. And then you'll have a breakout session, which will be a Zoom session in which you can continue your conversation. Hopefully we can have more of our growers from the world represented in the meeting. So this document is time sensitive. So Julius, yeah, go ahead, Vicki.
Are you going to put this document in the chat, or will somebody send it? Because I'm seeing just one working group short-term goals, and does it end items to review? Is it just that one page, or is it
it's a 2-page document. We already through the second page. We had done the first page, so we're already on the second page. And so so if you decide you want to put up with us and stay with us, then because we're asking for a commitment.
Yeah, we'll send it out.
If you're committed to do this, please put your information in the chat, and we can share this document with you. But please understand that none of this work will pay off if we don't make money. Everything we do costs money. So there is an issue of this is our intellectual property we created together, and it's to be shared within the collective. So what we hope to do is create benefit for everybody, but I'm asking you all to treat this as a confidential document, okay, when you receive it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Julius, do you have any notes that I should fill in?
Also, we need also to provide the education on seed preservations.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And just wanted to just emphasize again that the Ujamaa Cooperative just formed about a year ago, so we're kind of a new kid on the block, so to speak, and we're kind of like finding our way, if you will, trying to organize a working group, list out missions and goals. When we hear from the brothers and sisters, with the Kenyan Seed Savers Network, they've been around 12 years and they've developed a certain kind of a skill set and are familiar with growing for seed, preserving, and then sharing in their community. There's a lot to learn from you all. But one of these senses of goals, I was out west, USA in June on this joy and justice journey. I ran across a sister from the Cameroon while I was in Denver, and she was describing what foods she had to have being from the Cameroon in Denver, Colorado, and she said this seed called Jama Jama. I just happened to have in our seed suitcase from seeds, from Jama Jama seeds. So one of the goals is that, again, folks in the United States who say moved here either recently or maybe years ago from the continent are having a hard time finding seeds of foods that they love to eat. So we want to be able to serve getting seeds, say from Kenya, Botswana, Cameroon, and make available for folks here in the United States. That's that whole question of monetary, connection, and how we're buying seeds from the Kenyan Seed Savers Network, and we're buying those seeds and then making them available for folks in the USA or Trinidad or wherever else. So we want to help create livelihood wherever we have the network experience that.
Anything else, Julius?